The age-old question, power scaling son or shipping daughter? Now my parents must have misclicked because they made both in me, but I'm going to be tapping in to my power scaling side. I'm going to be power scaling some of my favorite main book characters. We got 3 characters. We got Percy Jackson, we got Sophie Foster, and we got Kaladin Stormblessed. Now you may be thinking, why on earth are you power scaling? Why not? Screw it, let's get into it, starting with the scale that I'm going to be using for this. So at the bottom we got soldier tier, which is worth 75 scrub points, because if you don't know, my name is Scrub. Next tier is going to be the squad tier, which is 2,500 scrub points. Then we got the battalion tier, which is 50,000 scrub points. And then we got the army tier, which is 500,000 scrub points. Obviously I need something relative so I can use it for all characters to see, you know, who's the strongest. Let's get into the first character, which is gonna be Sophie Foster. Now I'm gonna be ranking her power from the first 6 books because I feel like it didn't really change too much, and I'm gonna be putting that at 2,500, which makes her just squad tier. I think Sophie, like, she has the potential. Obviously everyone in the power scaling community knows that word. She has potential, she has the tools to be like extremely strong, but in the first 6 books she couldn't really control her inflicting, and it was like hella like situationary. I don't know if that's the word, but like she couldn't use it all the time because it like relied on her emotions, so it was only like when she was really angry. And it was also like unreliable, like she'd get the people around her, like even her friends. And with power scaling I feel like a lot of it comes from like her feats, and I don't feel like Sophie really has it to move her on to the next level, so that's why I'm putting her so low for the books 1 to 6. Next, I'm gonna be ranking her from book 7 to book 9, and this is definitely an upgrade because now she can focus on her afflicting. She has a feat, I would say, in getting Gisela, book 8, if you remember that scene. But you know, there's a little bit of fraudulent activity because well, Keith and Fitz kind of really helped her during that, so it's not even like her own feat just yet. I feel like, again, Sophie has the potential, but she's just not there yet, and that's why I put her in low squad tier, which is 10,000 squad points for her book 7 to 9 form. Now on to my guy Percy Jackson. Now this is where it gets a bit technical. I'll be ranking Percy's pre-Achilles form, and I'm gonna be putting this at mid squad tier, 20,000 squad points, so higher than any of Sophie's. And this is purely because of feats. Like, you can't take out the God of War in combat and not be above Sophie. I'm sorry. And he's obviously sword play. He stood up to Luke. Like, that's a big thing. Like, Luke was said to be like the strongest demigod in like 300 or whatever years, and he was able to stand toe to toe with him. He did that in Sea of Monsters and in the Lightning Thief as well. Also, he's obviously the son of the sea god. He has sea power, so that would boost his stats, but he couldn't really use it as much. He had to be kind of near water, so I can't really put him too high. That's why his original base-ish form from books 1 to 4, so until Battle of the Labyrinth, I'm gonna put that at 20,000 squad points. Or scrub points. Next, we got the strongest form we've seen so far, which is the Achilles curse, and I'm gonna be putting this in the battalion tier at 50,000 scrub points. Now obviously Percy's unkillable at this point. He was able to stand toe to toe with Kronos x Luke, kinda, you know, their combination form, which is not a joke. That guy was OP, and he also took out Hyperion. He turned him into a tree. That was with Grover's help, but I feel like Percy did a lot of the work there. He was able to control his own hurricane, which is a big thing. Like, he was able to use water without water being near him. You know, he created his own, and obviously you can't kill him unless you get the small of his back, which I feel like if he was surrounded by a bunch of enemies, which he was at one point, that could lead to a bit of trouble. But definitely the strongest form we've seen so far. That's why it gets its high ranking. Now we're gonna be ranking Percy's post Achilles curse, which is just basically the whole of Heroes of Olympus. And like Frank said, he still fights like a demon. He's more refined, and he can still summon the hurricanes. Like, I'm pretty sure he still had that in Son of Neptune when he fought like the Roman legions on top of like the snow mountain. Also, he has the poison bending hypotheticals, and if you want to get into that, you can probably even move him higher. But for now, I'm going to be putting him in high squad tier, which is 30,000 scrub points. So lower than Achilles, but higher than his base. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because I feel like Stormlight really focuses on like how strong people are, and it's probably more easier, I would say, to kind of compare everyone in this world because of the ideals and all that. So we're going to be starting with Kaladin, his base form, which is, I'm going to put him at low squad tier, so 12,000 scrub points. So below Percy's base form. This was before, obviously, Kaladin had Stormlight powers, so he was trained with a spear. He was really good with the spear, and he had, I don't know, the weird power of luck. It was unclear if he really had control of his Stormlight at that point, but he didn't really know about it. He didn't keep spheres on him, so I would say this is a pretty fair ranking for him. Now onto the first and second ideal, which both happen in the Way of Kings, the first book, and this is now where he has lashings, he can heal himself, and he had an amazing moment in the fight against the Pershendi, I don't know how to say it exactly, where he saved Dalinar and he stood up and said the ideal about saving everyone, even those who can't be saved, obviously the Windrunner ideal. And yeah, this is where Kaladin turns very OP. I ranked him at 50,000 squad points, matching Percy's Achilles curse. Yeah, I think he's generally that strong at this point. On to the third ideal, and this is where he blows everyone out of the water. This is in Words of Radiance when he took on Mosh and Seth. And these two are like legendary fighters. They have crazy powers. Seth especially, at this point, was basically unkillable, and Kaladin basically killed him. He also learned how to fight with a sword at this point. The only problem is throughout Oathbringer he had a bit of battle PTSD, he had depression, which lowers maybe his stats a little bit. Hypotheticals that could play a bit of a factor, but yeah, I think this is easily Kaladin's strongest form to this point in the video. And I'm going to be putting it at mid-battalion tier, which is 250,000 scrap points. Next, I just thought I'd rank this. This is Kaladin in Occupied Uruthu, which is in Rhythm of War, early Rhythm of War, when he didn't have his flying powers, but he had slowed down healing. And I still rank this at low battalion tier, 150,000 scrap points. Now, obviously he doesn't have flying abilities, but yeah, he just found a way. Like in this book, he was moving crazy. I was cheering for him, and he just seemed unkillable. Honestly, like the only person that can kill Kaladin just seems like Kaladin himself, and so I just couldn't rank him any lower than 150,000. Obviously lower than when he had his full powers, but still very, very, very strong, and he just finds a way, doesn't he? Finally, the final form of the video we're going to be ranking is going to be Kaladin's fourth ideal, which happened at the end of Rhythm of War. Again, I'm midway through Wind of Truth, so I can't really rank any forms that are upcoming, but yeah, this is when he gains shard plate powers. He can wrap himself and his teammates in armor, and this is just mad OP. I rank this at 500,000 scrub points at the army tier. He's the best of the best at this point in the books, and yeah, I don't see him really dying unless it's self-inflicted. So anyways, that's all for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.